Chapter 217. Chapter 141. Wanted by the Wu family, chaos spreads to Yunlai City. But the soaring snake technique helped him break through the limits of human lifespan, allowing him to gradually gain a lifespan akin to a divine beast. It's just the beginning, yet he has already increased his lifespan so much. Even taking a life-extending elixir wouldn't be able to achieve such results. My cultivation has also risen to 80%. Seems like reaching 9th layer Qi cultivation isn't far off. Jiang Fan glanced at his cultivation progress, feeling quite satisfied. In these 3 months of rigorous cultivation, his cultivation has progressed with remarkable speed. Of course, this is thanks to the 100-year-old Cyan Dragon ginseng. If it weren't for this centennial spirit medicine, his cultivation progress would have been much slower. If he goes to Yunlai City and purchases some top-grade elixirs, then advancing to 9th layer Qi cultivation is as good as certain. However, over these 3 months, the greatest improvements have been the Conceal Breath Talisman and the Protective Talisman. Jiang Fan touched his chin. He spent a considerable amount of luck points to enhance the skill level of his 2 life talismans to perfection level. This also gave a tremendous boost to the power of these 2 life talismans. The first is the Conceal Breath Talisman, which, at perfection level, allows him to reach a level of blending with nature, meaning his presence blends naturally with the surroundings, causing enemies to unwittingly overlook him, as if he himself were inherently a part of nature. His presence becomes significantly reduced. Others naturally overlook his presence, as if he were naturally a part of the environment. Using the perfection level Conceal Breath Talisman, he has evaded numerous crises in the 10,000 Beasts mountain range. Especially in cases when encountering Tier 2 demon beasts, he relied on the power of the Conceal Breath Talisman to hide. Thus, those Tier 2 demon beasts couldn't detect his existence. Even the power of the Conceal Breath Talisman can apply to other cultivators, helping them hide their presence. Then there's the Protective Talisman. At perfection level, it can instantly form a 9-layer spiritual energy shield. In terms of defense compared to before, it's several times stronger. Even if a group of 9th layer Qi cultivation cultivators attack together, they wouldn't think of breaking his 9-layer spiritual energy shield. Even for cultivators who are newly entering foundation establishment stage, breaking his spiritual energy shield would not be a trivial matter. Thus, after enhancing the power of the Protective Talisman to perfection level, he felt a genuine sense of security. It was as if his body were covered with a turtle shell. No matter if attacked, he can easily fend off the adversary. The opponent wouldn't think of ambushing him. The next morning, Jiang Fan thoroughly consolidated his cultivation, becoming familiar with his surge of power. He felt the abundance of energy and powerful explosive force within him. Compared to before, his combat strength had indeed increased tremendously. "Husband, is Yunlai City almost there?" Su Weiwei eagerly asked. After all, they've been in the 10,000 Beasts mountain range for a full 3 months. In these 3 months, they have hardly seen any other human cultivators. Mostly they were traveling and avoiding demon beasts. Thus, she greatly looked forward to reaching a human city once again. After all, humans are social creatures. Yes, judging by the map, we are not far from Yunlai City. We should be able to reach Yunlai City today. Jiang Fan nodded. Then let's head out now. Su Weiwei exclaimed, eager to set out. She wanted to reach Yunlai City immediately. Whoosh! The two didn't need to pack anything and immediately set off towards Yunlai City. Several hours passed. Jiang Fan and Su Weiwei finally arrived at Yunlai City. They found the city situated on a vast plain, arising from the ground, surrounded by white clouds. From a distance, this magnificent city was shrouded in mystery, appearing elusive. The entire city seemed to be enveloped by an array barrier. Occasionally, it flickered with waves of energy. Finally, they saw numerous human cultivators. In the sky, a flying ship occasionally appeared, swiftly heading to Yunlai City, making traffic quite busy. Occasionally, a foundation establishment cultivator could be seen flying with their sword. Compared to Cyan Forest Market, the bustling atmosphere was unmatched. Husband, it seemed there are also slums near Yunlai City. Su Weiwei noticed that many cultivators weren't entering Yunlai City, but went to large slum areas on the outskirts instead, right near Yunlai City. These seemed to have been established by loose cultivators, with houses lined up but in an orderly fashion. A certain amount of space was left between houses. It seemed to follow a unified plan. Unlike Xian Forest Market, where there were barely any gaps between houses, completely forming high-rise blocks. Overall, the slums appeared cleaner and more orderly. Yes, although Yunlai City is known as the city of independent cultivators, it has Tier 3 spirit veins. The city can only accommodate a limited number of loose cultivators. Even the spiritual chi from Tier 3 spirit veins cannot be supplied unlimitedly to all loose cultivators. Thus, most independent cultivators aren't eligible to live inside Yunlai City, only residing in the outer slums. Jiang Fan spoke solemnly. He had heard some news about Yunlai City. Initially, all loose cultivators could live inside Yunlai City. But over time, the number of loose cultivators grew. Even Yunlai City couldn't accommodate so many people. Chapter 218, Chapter 141, Wanted by the Wu family, chaos spreads to Yunlai City. But these loose cultivators are unwilling to leave. Over time, these slums have sprung up accordingly. Many poor loose cultivators reside in the slums. After all, the rent is cheap in this area. If they truly need to purchase treasures, they can just enter Yunlai City. You could say loose cultivators not only enjoy the protection of Yunlai City, but also the resources within it. It can truly be said to be a win-win situation. Husband, let's take a look, Su Weiwei said enthusiastically. Of course, before heading to the slums, they first disguised themselves and altered their aura. After all, one must be cautious when going to any unfamiliar place. Not to mention, Yunlai City is a city of independent cultivators, mixed with all sorts of people. There might be even more tribulation cultivators among them. Regardless, protecting oneself is always the first choice. Soon, Jiang Fan and Su Weiwei entered the slums of Yunlai City. Although called slums, they're actually not much different from ordinary small towns. There are not only commercial districts, but also residential areas. A myriad of loose cultivators has formed a bustling commercial activity here. Hotels, taverns, elixir shops, talisman shops, magical treasure shops, and so forth are all available. This made Jiang Fan and Su Weiwei, who had long stayed in the 10,000 Beasts mountain range, feel the long-lost human ambience. Alas, when will the Great Sun Sword sect and Five Elements Pill sect end the war? They've been fighting for several months already, right? It's caused the prices in Yunlai City to rise. The prices of talismans, elixirs, magical treasures, and so forth have increased by more than 30% compared to before. If it continues like this, we really can't survive. At this time, someone in a tavern complained. These words immediately resonated with other loose cultivators. Isn't it? The wars of these golden core sects have no end. It's said that these golden core sects discovered the ruins of a nascent soul cave mansion at Xian Forest Market, and numerous golden core genren have arrived there. It's now the battlefield for golden core influences, and the loose cultivators originally residing there are miserable, many dead or wounded. Nascent Soul Cave Mansion, which nascent soul is it? Seems like it's someone named Taoist Wan Hua. 1,000 years ago, this person was definitely a legend in the cultivation realm. He only had a low-grade spirit root but broke through all the way, eventually becoming a nascent soul, a true legend among loose cultivators. However, many cultivators speculate that Taoist Wan Hua undoubtedly acquired great fortunes. Otherwise, a mere low-grade spiritual root talent couldn't possibly become a nascent soul. Indeed, after Taoist Wan Hua fell, countless forces wanted to find where he fell, and unexpectedly, it was discovered by the Great Sun Sword sect and others. No wonder these golden core influences are unwilling to leave. Taoist Wan Hua was a renowned Tier 4 alchemist who once refined countless perfect elixirs, so wealthy it was comparable to a nation. Therefore, isn't it possible that there are numerous high-tier elixirs in the fallen cave mansion of this nascent soul ancestor? Not possible, there are indeed high-tier elixirs. Just in the outer area of the cave mansion, several bottles of Tier 3 elixirs were discovered by those golden core genren. They immediately fought violently, almost to the death. Rumor has it that even Yunlai City Lord, Taoist Yunlai, wants to go there for the competition. Upon reaching their level, obtaining Tier 3 elixirs isn't so easy. Even with spirit stones, one may not be able to buy them. Many loose cultivators discussed fervently. After all, 3 months have passed, and the events at the nascent soul cave mansion have gradually been spread out. Such matters couldn't be hidden. They have long been widely talked about, known by everyone. Even ordinary loose cultivators are beginning to know about these matters. No way even the city lord is tempted. If the city lord falls in this war, won't our Yunlai city be doomed? One loose cultivator looked very worried. To Yunlai city, Taoist Yunlai is the backbone of this independent cultivator city, regarded as the stabilizing needle. If he fall, the entire Yunlai city will surely be annexed by other golden core influences. Originally, there are not many places suitable for loose cultivators to stay. If Yunlai city is also taken over by those golden core influences, loose cultivators will practically have nowhere to go. So naturally, they don't want to see Taoist Yunlai fall. There's nothing to be done. This matter concerns the city lord's path to Taoism. No one can stop it. That's right. Don't look at how old the city lord is, almost over 400 years old, nearing the lifespan limit for a golden core Zhenren, but he's still not willing to succumb to old age and hoping to advance further. Alas, who doesn't want to advance further, but it's undeniable that if the city lord truly receives Taoist Wan Hu as legacy, acquires numerous Tier 3 elixirs, even Tier 4 elixirs, he might really have a chance to become a nascent soul ancestor. Tusk, that's too exaggerated. With the 10,000 Beasts mountain range occupied by so many golden core influences, so many golden core Zhenren, how many have become nascent souls over the 1,000 years? If one truly becomes a nascent soul, then perhaps our Yunlai city could really become an immortal city in the future, exist for at least 1,000 years. Although I have great faith in the city lord, becoming a nascent soul is simply impossible. Yeah, plus there are so many golden core Zhenren eyeing it. How could one possibly single-handedly take the nascent soul inheritance? Chapter 219. Chapter 141 Wanted by the Wu family, chaos spreads to Yunlai City /3. A group of loose cultivators were discussing fervently. They were quite worried. Even though Yunlai City is currently far from the center of the war, at least 3,000 kilometers away. But the situation in that place could affect the safety of Yunlai City at any time. Especially since Taoist Yunlai also seems to plan on joining the struggle. Undoubtedly, Yunlai City is inevitably involved. The city, which has been stable for hundreds of years, could fall into great turmoil at any moment. But they were just low-ranking cultivators. No matter how worried they were, they couldn't stop the situation from developing. They could only go with the flow. It seems that the chaos is just beginning. Sooner or later, it will affect the entire 10,000 Beasts mountain range. Upon hearing these words, Jiang Fan's expression grew serious. He didn't expect to hear news about the Xian forest market so quickly. But he was also quite relieved. Fortunately, he escaped from the Xian forest market in time. Otherwise, with his capabilities, staying in that place would likely mean death more than survival. That place is a battlefield for the golden core. For a cultivator at the Qi cultivation stage, they're like ants on this battlefield. Furthermore, this chaos is far from over. As long as the nascent soul cave mansion remains unconquered, the chaos will continue. Who knows how many forces will be attracted to this nascent soul cave mansion? So he still needs to continue improving his cultivation, strengthening his power to survive in this chaotic era. Otherwise, he'll end up like Fan Wei's family, dead in the chaos, with no power to resist. By the way, it's said that Elder Wu Feng of the Wu family escaped from the Xian forest market 2 months ago, but his 2 brothers and a Dao companion tragically died there. Someone suddenly brought up Wu Feng's situation. Is it that old ghost Wu? Using his status in the Wu family to commit misdeeds in Yunlai City, many people despise him. His misfortune is simply cheering people up. It's said that old ghost Wu was killed by a pair of loose cultivator spouses. During their escape, the loose cultivator couple scattered demon-enticing grass, attracting a Tier 2 demon beast, which killed the escaping loose cultivators. The couple took the opportunity to loot the wealth from them, using a strategy of borrowing a knife to kill, a very ruthless tactic. No way, who are this loose cultivator couple to be so ruthless? If true, wouldn't they have amassed a lot of spirit stones? Tusk probably earned tens of thousands of spirit stones, enough to buy a foundation establishment pill. So old ghost Wu went completely mad, using the power of the Wu family, crazily inspecting every loose cultivator arriving in Yunlai City over these 2 months, causing public grievances, but still to no avail. It was only recently that the Wu family became less active. The other party gained so many spirit stones and offended old ghost Wu They may not even come to Yunlai City. They might have escaped long ago to another place. That's what old Ghost Wu thinks too, so he's relaxed his scrutiny of loose cultivators during this time. If we also find that young couple, maybe we could seize the opportunity to get rich. Many cultivators have this thought, but it's not so easy to encounter them. The group of loose cultivators discussed fervently. Upon hearing this, Jiang Fan squinted his eyes, a trace of killing intent unconsciously leaking from him. He knew that brat Wu Feng fled, likely bringing him a lot of trouble. He didn't expect Wu Feng to even slander him. However, as Wu Feng is from the Wu family, the narrative power is in their hands, and Jiang Fan was helpless. Chapter 220, Chapter 142, Encounter Wu Feng again, seek revenge and redress. Husband. Beside him, Su Weiwei also heard these words and couldn't help but look at Jiang Fan with some nervousness. Fortunately, before coming to the shanty town, the two had already changed their identities and completely disguised themselves. Su Weiwei even disguised herself as a man. Otherwise, a young loose cultivator couple appearing in the Yunlai City shantytown would immediately draw the attention of the Wu family. She had to admire her husband's caution. In this way, they avoided a lot of trouble. Don't worry. It's been 2 months. The Wu family should have stopped their hunt and probably won't find us. Jiang Fan transmitted his spiritual sense, his expression very calm. Since his life talisman, the fortune-telling talisman, did not warn of danger, this also meant that they had not been noticed by the Wu family upon arriving at the shantytown. This was quite normal. Every day, so many cultivators came to Yunlai City. No matter how powerful the Wu family was, it would be impossible to check the background of every loose cultivator. More importantly, the Wu family had been checking for 2 months and still found nothing. As a foundation establishment clan, it was impossible for them to focus their attention on this forever. If they had come 2 months ago, there might have been a chance of exposure. But now, that's basically impossible. No wonder the fortune-telling talisman kept warning him not to go to Yunlai City so soon. He had to wait 1 or 2 months. Now it seemed it was fortunate he stayed in the 10,000 Beasts mountain range for 2 or 3 months. Otherwise, he really might have been discovered by the Wu family. Arriving in Yunlai City at this time, they just managed to avoid this disaster. Where should we live? Su Weiwei transmitted her voice again. After all, after arriving in Yunlai City, they definitely needed a place to stay. They couldn't live in the wild forever. Let's stay in the shanty town. Living inside Yunlai City might be dangerous. Jiang Fan said deeply. He had just used the power of the fortune-telling talisman to test if living in Yunlai City would be dangerous, and the result showed a minor danger. Evidently, the power of the Wu family in Yunlai City was not simple. If he rashly moved in, he might encounter danger. But living in the shantytown was different. First, the shantytown was a mix of people, with many loose cultivators and no restriction arrays to block them. Even if something went wrong, he could run away at the first moment. Moreover, for him, it wasn't about the Tier 3 spirit vein inside Yunlai City. He just needed the various elixirs and spirit medicines being sold inside. Living in the shantytown still allowed him to enter the city to buy elixirs. There was no need for him to live inside the city. Understood. Su Weiwei nodded, also feeling that living in the shantytown would allow more freedom. 1 hour later, Jiang Fan and Su Weiwei found the management office of the shantytown and rented a wooden cabin. After all, the shantytown was quite large, and with many loose cultivators coming and going, and a high mortality rate. Often there were many vacant cabins available, so it was easy for them to find a place to stay. And the rent was not very expensive, only 20 spirit stones per year. Even an ordinary loose cultivator could afford it. Thus, Yunlai City could be considered a paradise for loose cultivators, attracting many to live there. The two of them had temporarily settled down in Yunlai City. Boom tilde tilde. At this moment, Jiang Fan sensed a message coming from deep within his sea of consciousness. You have successfully arrived at the city of independent cultivators, Yunlai City, survived a disaster, and gained 4,000 luck points. He noticed that the fortune-telling talisman in his elixir field and sea of qi was glowing. It seemed that threads of destiny were descending upon him. Thus, his body was blessed by destiny. At this moment, He felt he could predict fortune and misfortune more clearly. The luck points he had consumed were also restored, reaching as many as 9,000 luck points. This made the destiny on him even more significant. Thinking of this, Jiang Fan immediately picked up Su Weiwei and headed towards the bed, passionately making love to his Dao companion several times, as a celebration for arriving in Yunlai City. 3 days later. After 3 days, Jiang Fan and Su Weiwei had become completely familiar with Yunlai City, and also learned a lot about Yunlai City from the loose cultivators around them. Inside Yunlai City, there were 8 foundation establishment clans, namely the Han, Yangzhou, Zhanglu, Su He, and Wu families. And Taoist Yunlai had 12 foundation establishment disciples. So there were a total of 20 foundation establishment cultivators in Yunlai City. Such strength was comparable to an ordinary golden core sect. In some respects, Yunlai City was equivalent to a golden core sect. The Wu family only had one foundation establishment cultivator, named Wu Beixi, who was over 200 years old. Therefore, the Wu family was currently very anxious. If they did not produce a new foundation establishment cultivator, the Wu family might completely decline. They might even be driven out of Yunlai City, though it's called the City of Independent Cultivators. In reality, it's still a city controlled by cultivation families. Perhaps initially, it was indeed a gathering place for loose cultivators. But with foundation establishment cultivators starting families, it naturally became a large foundation establishment clan. This is inevitable. It's no wonder the Wu family has such power, capable of checking loose cultivators. It seems we still need to be cautious and not reveal our identities. Chapter 221, Chapter 142, Encounter Wu Feng again, Revenge and Avenge Grievances /2. Otherwise, it will definitely bring about Wu family's pursuit. Jiang Fan clenched his fist. He also knew how much of a trouble he had caused by letting Wu Feng escape last time. If the opponent was merely a rogue cultivator, it might not have been significant. But unfortunately, the opponent was backed by a foundation establishment clan. If you kill the young, the elders may follow. Even these foundation establishment families have been allies for generations, each marrying into the other, connected like branches of the same tree. Relationships are extremely complex. But this has nothing to do with me. I'm just here in Yunlai City to seize the opportunity and purchase cultivation resources. No matter how complex the relationships in Yunlai City may be, as long as I don't wade into these murky waters, there won't be any problems. Even as long as I upgrade to foundation establishment, any conflict with the Wu family would not be a problem. In the end, everything is determined by strength. Jiang Fan's eyes shone with a hint of determination. The reason why the Wu family clamored to attack and kill him was simply because they thought he was weak. Not reaching foundation establishment, one is merely an ant. If he became a foundation establishment cultivator, the Wu family would probably have to concede. In that case, let's head to Yunlai City first. Purchase cultivation resources and advance to 9th layer Qi cultivation. Jiang Fan felt that he was only a step away from 9th layer Qi cultivation. If he could buy some top-grade elixirs or spiritual liquid, advancing further would be a certainty, without any bottleneck. Earlier, he had acquired a significant amount of spirit stones, perfect for spending now. Swoosh! With this thought, Jiang Fan left the wooden cabin, intending to enter Yunlai City. It's undeniable, this truly deserves to be called a golden core immortal city. Even the slum area here is far more prosperous than Xian Forest Market. The rogue cultivators residing here are innumerable. Moreover, their average level is also extremely high. Late-stage Qi cultivation cultivators are everywhere. After all, if they want to advance further to achieve foundation establishment, coming to Yunlai City is their only option. Only by coming to Yunlai City do they have the chance to obtain a foundation establishment pill. Entering Yunlai City is quite simple, no registration is required. Any cultivator can freely enter and exit Yunlai City. That's why it's called the City of Independent Cultivators, attracting a large number of rogue cultivators. Boom tilde tilde. Just after entering Yunlai City, Jiang Fan sensed as if he had broken through a barrier and entered another world. Such dense spiritual qi. Jiang Fan took a deep breath. He found that the primordial talisman deep within his elixir field and sea of qi automatically activated, greedily absorbing the threads of spiritual qi in the air. It seemed that practicing here would improve efficiency by at least double. It said that Yunlai City has a Tier 3 spirit vein, even though most of the spiritual qi was intercepted by Taoist Yunlai, leaving only a small portion for other rogue cultivators. Compared to other rogue cultivators, this place is like a holy land. No wonder so many rogue cultivators are willing to pay high rents to live in Yunlai City. If one practices here long-term, the cultivation efficiency would increase by at least double. However, he did not linger at the city gate, continuing to stroll inside the city. Compared to Xian Forest Market, this place is vastly more prosperous. The entire city is enormous, accommodating numerous cultivators. The street shops line up one after another. Various items are abundant. There are even some rogue cultivators selling goods at stalls. The treasures here are 100 times more abundant than at Xian Forest Market. Tusk, it truly deserves to be called a golden core immortal city. The prices for spirit rice, demon beast meat, and so forth are more than half cheaper than at Xian Forest Market. Even the prices of elixirs are much lower. No wonder it's a paradise for rogue cultivators. Jiang Fan was deeply moved. He felt that the purchasing power of his spirit stones had doubled since coming to Yunlai City. It could only be said that the butcher's knife of Xian Forest Market was indeed ruthless, having slaughtered countless rogue cultivators. The Great Sun Sword Sect, Xian Forest Market is like a hen that lays golden eggs. Every year, they do not know how many spirit stones they can earn. But this is only low-tier cultivation resources. The price of high-tier cultivation resources is still very expensive. Even more expensive than Xian Forest Market. After all, high-tier cultivation resources are extremely scarce. Jiang Fan wandered up and down the streets, looking for a suitable shop to purchase from. Soon he arrived at a shop, Wu's Elixir Shop. Surely this is the elixir shop owned by Wu family, a foundation establishment clan, in Yunlai City. Normally, since he had a feud with Wu Feng of the Wu family, he wouldn't have approached this shop. But as he passed by this shop, the fortune-telling talisman began to vibrate. Simultaneously, it emitted a message, minor fortune. It suggested that by purchasing elixirs here, he might gain unforeseen opportunities. With this thought, Jiang Fan didn't hesitate and directly entered Wu's elixir shop. This fellow Taoist, what kind of elixir are you looking for? The person who came forward was Wu Hui, the shopkeeper, a cultivator of 8th layer qi cultivation. He smiled warmly at Jiang Fan. As Jiang Fan's aura revealed 7th layer qi cultivation, which is already late-stage qi cultivation realm. Even if the other was merely a rogue cultivator, they definitely have purchasing power. To him, such a customer is undoubtedly an upper-grade client. I would like some spiritual liquid, do you have it here? Jiang Fan said straightforwardly. He considered spiritual liquid to be of great help to him. Furthermore, there were no side effects. To him, spiritual liquid was the most cost-effective spiritual object. If he could obtain a large amount of spiritual liquid, advancing to 9th layer qi cultivation would be assuredly successful. Of course we do. But 1 drop of spiritual liquid costs 300 spirit stones. How much do you need, fellow Taoist? Upon hearing this, Wu Hui's smile widened, never expecting this cultivator to afford spiritual liquid. This was a high-tier cultivation resource that even family cultivators like himself couldn't afford. Clearly, the spirit stones on this stranger were considerable. Just 20 drops will do. Jiang Fan thought for a while and said directly. He wanted to buy more. But that would be too conspicuous, potentially attracting unnecessary trouble. 6,000 spirit stones are indeed a lot, but it shouldn't attract foundation establishment cultivators. No problem. Wu Hui's eyes glimmered for a moment with a tinge of greed. But the trace of greed quickly vanished. He swiftly retrieved 20 drops of spiritual liquid. Cash in hand, goods in hand. Jiang Fan didn't plan to chat further with him, took the spiritual liquid and quickly left. Watching Jiang Fan leave, Wu Hui immediately took out a communication talisman and informed his elder brother Wu Feng. Not long after, a middle-aged man quickly arrived. This person was none other than Wu Feng. Brother Feng, just now a rogue cultivator came to the shop. Spent 6,000 spirit stones on spiritual liquid. This is a fat sheep indeed. If you skin this kid, perhaps Brother Feng, there might be some hope for your Foundation establishment pill. Wu Hui excitedly said. He already harbored the malicious intention of murder and treasure theft. Wu family often committed such acts. Though they did legitimate business, if they discovered a wealthy rogue cultivator, they would secretly follow and ambush them. Through such practices, Wu family quickly amassed vast wealth, brimming with riches. Regrettably, Wu family members lacked talent. Until now, they couldn't produce a second Foundation establishment cultivator. Have you sent someone to follow him? Wu Feng tightly clenched his fist, feeling excited. After all, 6,000 spirit stones were a substantial amount to him. Mere rogue cultivator carrying so many spirit stones was simply courting death. At this moment, he recalled his encounter 3 months ago. If not for that damn rogue cultivator ruining his plans, he might have earned tens of thousands in spirit stones by now. Even started preparing for Foundation establishment, instead of wandering around seeking rich rogue cultivators to ambush. Don't worry, I've already arranged people to follow that kid. Once he leaves Yunlai City, we'll surely find him. That kid simply can't escape. Wu Hui said confidently. Wu family had done this countless times before. It was routine for them. Very good. Wu Feng was quite satisfied. He felt today his luck was good. Find a rogue cultivator fat sheep. Chapter 222, Chapter 143. So what if it's a Foundation establishment clan? They will die all the same. The evening is closing in. The sun sets in the west. Indeed, we've been followed. Jiang Fan appears to be wandering idly around Yunlai City, but he had long noticed some suspicious figures on the street, secretly tailing him. No doubt, it must be because he revealed his wealth by purchasing a large amount of spiritual liquid, which attracted these thugs. They say this place is a haven for loose cultivators. Now it seems without some power, Yunlai City might be even more dangerous. It's likely that quite a few loose cultivators lose their lives here every year. Jiang Fan's eyes flashed with a cold light. In truth, he had already realized that a place with many loose cultivators simply represents chaos and disorder. After all, as loose cultivators, they have low aptitude and lack background. If they wish to advance further, they must inevitably fight other loose cultivators to seize resources. Each step forward leads to bloodshed. One wonders how many cultivators' bones have been trampled to become Foundation establishment. Although Yunlai City prohibits any cultivator disputes within, outside the city, killings and conflicts are rampant, especially in the slum areas which are full of chaos. A cultivator with only early-stage Qi cultivation likely struggles to survive in Yunlai City. Fortunately, he is now an 8th-layer Qi cultivation cultivator, considered to have a little means of self-preservation. As long as he doesn't provoke any Foundation establishment cultivators, there shouldn't be much problem. Wasn't it said that buying spiritual liquid from Wu's elixir shop is fortune? Now it's attracted the Wu family's covetousness. Is this really fortune? Could the fortune-telling talisman be wrong? No, it shouldn't be wrong. The 3 months spent in the 10,000 Beasts mountain range were enough to prove its accuracy. If it's said to be fortune, it must be fortune. Wait, it's Wu's shop. Could it be that it lures Wu Feng out? Jiang Fan's eyes flickered with excitement. After all, Wu Feng wants him dead, but Jiang Fan also wants Wu Feng dead. This guy killed so many loose cultivators and destroyed Fan Wei's family. His crimes are unpardonable. Unfortunately, the opponent hides within the Wu family and Yunlai City, so Jiang Fan hasn't been able to deal with him. However, if the opponent takes the initiative to cause problems or even leaves Yunlai City, the situation changes completely. Without a doubt, this is a fishing expedition. The goal is to reel in Wu Feng. If successful, then he can avenge the deaths of fellow cultivator Fan Wei. Wish. Despite these thoughts, Jiang Fan remained calm outwardly. He pretended not to notice anyone watching him and headed out of the city. Before long, Jiang Fan quickly left Yunlai City, heading deep into the 10,000 Beasts mountain range, completely distancing himself from Yunlai City and the slum areas, arriving in a desolate region. Bang tilde tilde. At this moment, 2 figures appeared in the distance. It was Wu Feng and the shopkeeper Wu Hui. They intercepted Jiang Fan directly. Who are you? Wait, aren't you the shopkeeper from Wu's elixir shop? Why are you intercepting me here? Jiang Fan put on a panic-stricken appearance. Yet inside he was extremely excited. The fortune-telling talisman was indeed correct. This fishing expedition actually drew out Wu Feng, seeming to find what he sought without any effort. But he didn't rush to act, since the opportunity is one time only. If missed, it won't be easy to lure Wu Feng out next time. So he remained cautious until action was inevitable. Why? There's no particular reason. Blame it on your wealth and for being just a loose cultivator. Such enormous wealth isn't for someone as small as you. Now die for me. The shopkeeper Wu Hui's face twisted with malevolence, considering Jiang Fan as easy prey. Before acting, he had thoroughly checked the surroundings for other cultivators, which meant this person acted alone, without companions. For loose cultivators like these, dying here would avenge no one. They're simply perfect targets. Stop wasting words, kill him now. Wu Feng laughed coldly. He had no interest in chatting with the opponent. His only goal was to kill the boy and rob him of all wealth. The more said, the more potential for change occurs. To avoid unforeseen complications, quickly kill the guy. At once the two attacked Jiang Fan, both being sword cultivators, unsheathing their flying swords, sending waves of sword chi towards Jiang Fan, extremely vicious. Were it an average loose cultivator, facing attack from 9th layer and 8th layer chi cultivators, certain death would occur. Too weak. Jiang Fan didn't move, activated his life talisman, the protective talisman. The perfect level protective talisman instantly unleashed, forming a 9-layer primordial spiritual power shield, leaving virtually no dead angles, creating a spherical form. Thud, thud, thud. In moments, Wu Feng and Wu Hui's sword chi struck the primordial spiritual power shield, as if sinking into a quagmire, unable to break even one layer of the spiritual power shield. Thus it greatly shocked them. Impossible, what kind of protective technique is this? Even our sword chi cannot penetrate, how could this happen? Wu Feng and Wu Hui stared at Jiang Fan in disbelief. Chapter 223, Chapter 143, so what if it's a Foundation Establishment clan? They will die all the same, /2. They instinctively realized that this time, they might have hit an iron plate. A mere loose cultivator at the 7th layer chi cultivation absolutely could not have such power. In other words, they had been deceived this time. This was not a fat sheep at all, but a fierce tiger that devours people. Go to hell. Jiang Fan activated the Golden Light Talisman, his life talisman, flooding it with vast primordial spiritual power, releasing beams of golden brilliance. Instantly, 2 rays of golden light burst forth. Like 2 streaks of golden sword chi, they contained a terrifying power of sharpness. Wu Feng and Wu Hui had no time to react. After all, the speed of the Golden Light Talisman was simply too fast. Moreover, they were so close to Jiang Fan. With deliberate calculation against unpreparedness, they simply could not withstand it. Boom tilde tilde. In an instant, 2 golden beams suddenly exploded, striking directly on their heads. They couldn't even let out a scream. Their entire heads shattered like watermelons, thoroughly blasted, turning into a cloud of blood mist. Wu Feng and Wu Hui both died on the spot. When they died, they didn't even know what happened. Thinking they were just out to rob a loose cultivator, they encountered such a calamity. They didn't even know whose hands they died by. They were utterly clueless. Of course, Jiang Fan had no intention of revealing his true identity to these two. Finally succeeded in taking revenge. Jiang Fan took a deep breath, feeling a sense of relief throughout his body. Ever since Wu Feng fled, he hadn't been able to sleep, constantly thinking of revenge. He finally lured this guy out of Yunlai City and killed him on the spot. It was also revenge for Fan Wei and other loose cultivators. If they knew about this, they would at least feel a bit comforted. Boom tilde tilde. Thinking of this, a small cluster of flame appeared at Jiang Fan's fingertip, landing on the 2 corpses. The next second, these 2 corpses were burned to ashes, completely reduced to dust. At the same time, he picked up the storage bags from the 2 and quickly left the place. After all, they were cultivators belonging to the Wu family. Their death might provoke the wrath of the Wu family. So it was better to run away quickly to avoid Wu family discovering any trace of him. Fortunately, when Wu Feng and Wu Hui left, they didn't inform any other Wu clan members. They were probably blinded by greed long ago, wanting to monopolize this windfall. If other clan members knew, it would mean splitting the spirit stones. So other Wu clan members didn't know that these two suddenly encountered such a disaster. In the late hours of the night, Jiang Fan did not return immediately to the shantytown wooden house, but hid outside for several hours. It was only in the dead of night that he finally returned home. This would also avoid other cultivators discovering his traces, reducing exposure. Thud. Just as he returned home, a message surged from deep within Jiang Fan's consciousness. You personally killed Wu Feng and Wu Hui, avenged grievances, eradicated enemies, and passed a tribulation, gaining 5,000 luck points and a 7th grade opportunity. Feeling this message, he was very satisfied. His luck had increased significantly. The total number of luck points had already reached 14,000. This is an incredibly astonishing amount. It must be said that Wu Feng undoubtedly had a lot of luck as well. If not for encountering him, their plan would probably have succeeded long ago. They might even have purchased a Foundation Establishment pill, becoming Foundation Establishment cultivators. Unfortunately for them, after encountering him, they faced a calamity and died prematurely. He also must have seized a substantial amount of luck from Wu Feng. Boom tilde tilde. Thinking of this, Jiang Fan's mind flicked, clicking on the opportunity light point deep within his consciousness. A message surged in. 7 days later at noon, head 500 meters southeast of the shantytown in Yunlai City, and you will obtain the 7th grade opportunity. Feeling this message, Jiang Fan was quite expectant, wondering what the 7th grade opportunity would be. But no matter what it would be revealed in 7 days. Husband, why did you come back so late? Su Waiwei felt relieved when she saw Jiang Fan return. It's nothing, I was just lucky to encounter Wu Feng. Jiang Fan didn't hide anything, immediately recounting what had happened just now. Wu Feng is dead, won't this offend the Wu family? I heard the Wu family is arrogant and powerful. It might stir up a lot of trouble. Su Waiwei said worriedly. It's nothing, soldiers come, water floods cover with earth. Just a Foundation Establishment clan, not a Golden Core clan. If something really happens, I can just run away. Jiang Fan said confidently. His confidence naturally came from having the fortune-telling talisman. This talisman can foresee fortune and misfortune. As it stands, the death of Wu Feng and others won't bring much trouble to him. Right here are the storage bags of those two. There should be some treasures inside. You check them. I need to go into seclusion later. Jiang Fan handed over the storage bags of Wu Feng and the other to Su Waiwei. He was already quite wealthy now. The wealth in these 2 storage bags could just be a little treasury for his Tao companion. Are you planning to go into seclusion to break through? Su Waiwei's eyes widened. She knew that her man was not far from the 9th layer Qi cultivation. If he broke through again, he would be a 9th layer Qi cultivation cultivator. Becoming a Foundation Establishment cultivator would then only be a matter of time. That's right, I bought quite a bit of spiritual liquid this time. It should be enough for me to break through. Jiang Fan clenched his fist. He felt a sense of urgency. His current cultivation was still too weak. At the very least, becoming a Foundation Establishment cultivator is necessary to have self-preservation power in the 10,000 Beasts mountain range. So he must break through as soon as possible and enhance his cultivation. For some reason, he felt that this disaster would eventually affect Yunlai City. Therefore, he needed to be prepared in advance. In a secluded chamber, Jiang Fan sat cross-legged on the ground. The entire wooden house was covered with silence talismans, conceal breath talismans, and other talismans, sealing off all fluctuations. This way, he could avoid many external disturbances. He retrieved spiritual liquid from the internal space of the 10,000 transformations pill furnace. Without saying a word, Jiang Fan swallowed it all. He was already very skilled at consuming spiritual liquid. There was no need to waste time. Rumble tilde tilde tilde. In an instant, a full 20 drops of spiritual liquid entered his stomach, quickly transforming into vast energy, surging into the depths of his elixir field and sea of qi, devoured and absorbed by the primordial talisman. Threads of primordial spiritual power were instantly refined. Numerous primordial spiritual powers flowed out from the depths of his elixir field and sea of qi, rushing into several meridians. The primordial spiritual power, usually requiring a lot of time to condense, was now rapidly increasing. Who knows how much time this saved him? It can only be said that cultivation resources are crucial for a cultivator. Even those with low-grade spirit root talent, given unlimited resources, can become nascent soul or even divinity transformation cultivators. Not to mention, he possesses earth spirit root talent. Even in the entire cultivation realm, he is considered a peerless genius. Who knows how long passed, but his body's 8 meridians were filled with a vast amount of primordial spiritual power. Due to the 20 drops of spiritual liquid, his cultivation advanced to the Qi cultivation 8th layer perfection. He was just one step away from the realm of 9th layer Qi cultivation. Advancing to the 9th layer Qi cultivation is simple enough. A single effort to break through the 9th meridian would suffice. At this moment, Jiang Fan activated the mixed element talisman scripture, the primordial talisman in the depths of his elixir field and sea of Qi continually spinning, like a massive vortex, inhaling and exhaling the spiritual Qi between heaven and earth. His entire body was a vortex, voraciously devouring the surrounding spiritual Qi. The depth of the primordial spiritual power in his body was continuously increasing. Vast spiritual power, like a tidal wave, ceaselessly struck the bottleneck of the 9th meridian. Chapter 224. Chapter 144, Advancement to the 9th layer Qi cultivation, the 3 stages of foundation establishment. Boom tilde tilde. At this moment, Jiang Fan suddenly felt enlightened, realizing that his opportunity to advance to the 9th layer Qi cultivation had arrived. The primordial spiritual power deep within him suddenly became violent, launching an assault on the 9th meridian. Thud! With just one impact, the bottleneck of the 9th meridian was instantly broken through. As if it were a matter of course, a large amount of primordial spiritual power surged towards the 9th meridian. 9th layer Qi cultivation. Without a doubt, at this moment, Jiang Fan finally ascended to the 9th layer Qi cultivation realm. He sensed that, after advancing to the 9th layer Qi cultivation, his 9 meridians had expanded significantly, able to contain more primordial spiritual power compared to before. At least an increase of 1/2 compared to before. The mist-like primordial spiritual power flowed through the 9 meridians. Like 9 gaseous long rivers, it surged and roared, vast and mighty. The primordial talisman deep in the elixir field and sea of Qi had also enlarged considerably. Now he could engrave the 9th life talisman. Is this the 9th layer Qi cultivation? Jiang Fan operated the mixed element talisman scripture, letting the primordial spiritual power flow through his meridian circle after circle. Once the 9 meridians are connected, allowing them to flow freely among each other, it would achieve Qi cultivation perfection. Then he could attempt to break through, to ascend to the foundation establishment realm. This is also a realm of fish, leaping the dragon gate. Countless loose cultivators are stuck at this step, unable to break through. Next, it's time to engrave the 9th life talisman. Previously, I've engraved 8 life talismans. Among them are talismans for defense, control, and attack. But there is still one type of talisman missing. That is a soul-type talisman. Jiang Fan squinted. It's clear that for a cultivator, no number of attack methods would ever be too many. Cyan Lotus Earth Fire Talisman and Golden Light Talisman are considered attack-type talismans. But from a certain perspective, they actually belong to the elemental class talismans. The enemy also has corresponding methods to defend against them. However, soul-type talismans are different, capable of penetrating ordinary protective talismans completely, directly attacking the enemy's soul. Such attacks are extremely covert, yet highly lethal. More importantly, these types of talismans are very suitable for Jiang Fan. For Jiang Fan, his strongest talent is not his spirit root, but his soul talent. Because he has traversed from the other world, a soul of 2 lifetimes. This has also led to his soul power being extremely strong, several times greater than cultivators of the same level. If he can fully develop it, it would certainly be a trump card for him. In that case, the 9th talisman will be the soul-shaking talisman. Jiang Fan immediately made up his mind. This is a soul-type talisman. Once executed, it will inflict tremendous damage to the enemy's soul. Like a soul shock. The stronger the soul power, the more powerful this talisman becomes. This seems like a naturally suited life talisman for him. Rumble tilde tilde. Thinking this, Jiang Fan wasted no time, starting to operate the mixed element talisman scripture, engraving the soul-shaking talisman. At the same time, he actually consumed 2,000 luck points. At this moment, he immediately entered a state of enlightenment. The primordial talisman deep in the elixir field and sea of qi began to rotate. Its surface also showed spiritual power lines, merging into the sphere's surface. Even the slightest mistake could lead to failure. However, under the power of destiny, he would not make any mistakes. Thud. No one knows how much time has passed. The soul-shaking talisman was immediately engraved on the primordial talisman. Faintly, the talisman seemed to be able to mobilize all soul power deep in Jiang Fan's sea of consciousness, emitting a soft golden glow. The ninth life talisman is finally complete. Jiang Fan couldn't help but show genuine joy, sensing 9 life talismans appearing on his primordial talisman, making the talisman quite large. It also contains a significant amount of primordial spiritual power. It seems like with just a slight activation, it could unleash astonishing power. Especially the soul-shaking talisman, even at a beginner level, merely operating it seems to release strong soul waves, leaving enemies dizzy. It could even directly shatter the enemy's soul, leading to their demise. Tusk, I didn't expect you kid to advance to the 9th layer Qi cultivation realm so quickly. It's no wonder you possess Earth Spirit root talent. Much stronger than my previous master. If Taoist Wan Hua had your talent back then, he wouldn't have had such a tough path. Becoming a divinity transformation cultivator might not be an impossible task. The 10,000 transformations pill furnace also sensed Jiang Fan's condition, speaking with much emotion. It felt that Jiang Fan's foundation was laid very solidly. Even the true disciples of the nascent soul sect are no better than this. Who would believe this guy is just a loose cultivator? Based on my current situation, I wonder when I can advance to the foundation establishment. Hearing this, Jiang Fan was moved, asking aloud. He knew the 10,000 transformations pill furnace had previously followed Taoist Wan Hua, who was a nascent soul cultivator. It was likely quite knowledgeable about the foundation establishment realm. So in a sense, the 10,000 transformations pill furnace is a wise master. Perhaps it could help solve many cultivation-related doubts. Successfully advancing to the foundation establishment realm is actually very simple. It requires 3 transformations. Chapter 225. Chapter 144. Advancement to 9th layer Qi cultivation, foundation establishment 3 stages /2. The first transformation is the transformation of spiritual power, from gaseous spiritual power to liquid spiritual power. If it's an ordinary loose cultivator, due to their inferior cultivation techniques and heavy reliance on elixirs, their spiritual power becomes filled with impurities. Just this alone prevents them from transforming into liquid spiritual power. But you are different. The mixed element talisman scripture you cultivate is a top-notch technique in the world, and the spiritual power condensed from it is extremely pure, almost free of any impurities. Therefore, this barrier poses no problem for you. The 10,000 transformations pill furnace said in a deep voice. In fact, this is also an important reason why loose cultivators fail to advance to foundation establishment. From the very beginning, they cut off the path to further progress. Unless they encounter extraordinary opportunities, like acquiring a top-grade elixir for washing marrow and cutting meridians that can eliminate impurities in their spiritual power. For instance, Taoist Wan Hua once did this. He obtained some special elixir that purified his spiritual power, making it as pure as those of a sect's true disciples, allowing him to advance to foundation establishment. Unfortunately, such opportunities are extremely rare. They are nearly impossible for loose cultivators to obtain. Yet Jiang Fan does not need such opportunities because the primordial spiritual power he condenses is inherently pure, without any impurities, placing him far ahead of Taoist Wan Hua from the start. This also saves a great deal of cultivation resources. What about the second transformation? Jiang Fan continued asking. The second transformation is the transformation of spiritual sense. From gaseous spiritual power to liquid spiritual power, advancing to the foundation establishment spirit sense. This barrier is also very simple, yet extremely dangerous. Many cultivators fall at this hurdle. If the transformation fails, they will die as their soul collapses. Therefore, many cultivators need to find spiritual objects to aid in their spiritual sense transformation. Such spiritual objects are referred to as foundation establishment spiritual objects. The 10,000 Transformations Pill Furnace explained. It stated that the spiritual objects that help purify a cultivator's spiritual power and transform their spiritual sense are foundation establishment spiritual objects. But such foundation establishment spiritual objects are extremely rare. Every appearance holds great value. They are fiercely contested by numerous cultivators. They hardly ever fall into the hands of loose cultivators. They are inevitably seized by family or sect cultivators. I see. Jiang Fan nodded. It seems he can easily pass this barrier as well. After all, when it comes to soul power, who could be stronger than him? Moreover, his ninth life talisman, the soul-shaking talisman, also allows him to continuously temper his soul, increasing his soul power. Enough to protect him through the spiritual sense barrier. The third transformation is the transformation of the body, known as the physique barrier. When advancing from the Qi cultivation realm to the foundation establishment realm, it will attract a vast amount of heaven and earth spiritual Qi. This results in the effect of washing marrow and cutting meridians, causing the body to transform. In doing so, the lifespan of the foundation establishment cultivator will be extended. The problem is, some cultivators' bodies are weak and unable to withstand this heavenly baptism. This could lead to their demise, with their bodies exploding to death. That's why the success rate of foundation establishment drastically decreases after the age of 60. Because after 60, the body weakens with age, even if surpassed the previous two barriers, but they probably won't pass the third one. As long as they can't withstand the heavenly baptism, death is inevitable. Therefore, the younger the cultivator, the higher their success rate for foundation establishment. The 10,000 Transformations Pill Furnace said. At this moment, it looked at Jiang Fan with an expression of helplessness, not knowing what to say. Because according to its words, this kid becoming a foundation establishment cultivator is a certainty. If even this kid could not successfully achieve foundation establishment, then few in the cultivation world can. Essentially, as long as the internal cultivation reaches Qi cultivation perfection, they can attempt foundation establishment at any time. So it seems the foundation establishment pill is not a necessity. Jiang Fan stroked his chin. He originally thought he needed to purchase a foundation establishment pill to achieve foundation establishment. But now it seems, as long as his foundation is strong enough, he can autonomously achieve foundation establishment, without needing the so-called foundation establishment pill at all. Indeed, the foundation establishment pill is not a necessity. For instance, cultivators with a celestial spirit root talent can effortlessly achieve foundation establishment. Even for those of ordinary talent, if their cultivation is perfect and their foundation is solid, they can also autonomously achieve foundation establishment. The problem is, how many cultivators in the world can lay a perfect foundation? Moreover, the foundation establishment pill is somewhat of an insurance. Even if they fail, the foundation establishment pill can ensure they won't die, granting a second chance for foundation establishment. Therefore, for cultivators, the foundation establishment pill has become a necessity. Of course, some destitute loose cultivators will still risk it all, attempting autonomous foundation establishment. If successful, they will rise high in one step. Unfortunately, 99% fail, resulting in death. The 10,000 Transformations Pill Furnace said calmly. The foundation establishment pill has become a treasure for countless Qi cultivation stage cultivators for a reason. The vast majority of Qi cultivation stage cultivators cannot achieve cultivation perfection. There will always be some flaws. Hence, the foundation establishment pill becomes a necessity for cultivators. And as time passes, the price of the foundation establishment pill continues to soar. I see. Jiang Fan nodded. He felt that after this explanation from the 10,000 Transformations Pill Furnace, he had a better understanding of how to achieve foundation establishment. Indeed, having an elder at home is a treasure. If not for the 10,000 Transformations Pill Furnace, he'd still be confused about achieving foundation establishment. Next, if he wants to achieve foundation establishment, he needs spiritual power perfection, spiritual sense perfection, and physique perfection. Only when every aspect is perfect can he autonomously achieve foundation establishment. Thinking of this, his heart stirred, and he opened the virtual panel on his body. Name Jiang Fan, Life chart. Great blessings equal to heaven attribute. Dire misfortune avoided, great blessings follow. Lifespan 230. Spirit root, earth spirit root. Luck points 12,000. Wealth 45,000 spirit stones. Cultivation technique. Soaring snake technique incomplete. Chi cultivation chapter middle stage. Cultivation technique. Mixed element talisman scripture first layer. Life talisman. Cyan lotus earth fire talisman beginner. Light body talisman great success. Conceal breath talisman perfection. Protective talisman perfection. Golden light talisman great success. Body stabilizing talisman great success. Yin yang mandarin duck talisman beginner. Fortune telling talisman beginner. Soul shaking talisman beginner. Realm 9th layer chi cultivation 1%. Profession top grade talisman master 70%. Evidently, compared to before, his cultivation has advanced significantly. 3 more days passed. Jiang Fan and Su Weiwei were both at home cultivating, rarely leaving. After all, he had just advanced to the 9th layer chi cultivation and needed to consolidate his cultivation. It's not suitable to go anywhere else. But he soon discovered that the shantytown seemed to be becoming chaotic. A large number of Wu family cultivators began entering the shantytown, searching house to house. This caused a lot of loose cultivators to voice their resentment. Damn it, what on earth is the Wu family doing? Why are they causing trouble in our shantytown again? Do these guys think we're easy targets, so they're coming to bully us? A loose cultivator was furious. Even though the Wu family is a foundation establishment clan with great power, loose cultivators are not easy to provoke either. Even a rabbit will bite when cornered. Moreover, they are loose cultivators skilled in the art of killing. Each one exudes murderous intent. It's said that 2 late-stage Qi cultivation Wu family cultivators, Wu Feng and Wu Hui, were killed by a loose cultivator. Even their bodies were burned, completely destroyed. The methods were extremely cruel and ruthless. This incident thoroughly alarmed the entire Wu family and made the Wu family's foundation establishment cultivators indescribably furious. Thus, the Wu family began deploying personnel to search the shantytown. Because they believe it was definitely the loose cultivators from the shantytown who did it. They must find the culprit and get revenge. Someone spoke mysteriously, explaining the ins and outs of the matter. After all, in this world, there are no walls without cracks. Really? How does the Wu family know it was the shantytown's loose cultivators? Couldn't it be someone else? Haha, you don't know, do you? It's said that this mysterious loose cultivator once went to Wu's elixir shop to buy spiritual liquid, spending a total of 6,000 spirit stones, showing extraordinary wealth. But because of his generous spending, Wu Feng and Wu Hui targeted him, attempting to rob and kill him halfway. Who would have thought that they'd never return, obviously being killed in retaliation? Someone immediately revealed the details of the incident. Chapter 226, Chapter 145, Strike first to gain the upper hand, assassinate Wu family cultivator. You even know such detailed things. Quite a few loose cultivators were dumbfounded. Normally, this should be strictly confidential information of the Wu family, impossible for outsiders to know. But unexpectedly, someone had already leaked it. There are no walls that don't let the wind through. I happen to have a brother working for the Wu family. That afternoon, Wu Feng and Wu Hui harbored malicious intent, trying to kill for wealth, so they ordered my brother to monitor that mysterious loose cultivator's movements. That's how I came to know the ins and outs of this affair. The cultivator said smugly. He knew the details purely by coincidence. Who would have thought his brother was working for the Wu family at the right time? Shit, those 2 bastards deserved to die, clearly wanting to kill for wealth and murder for treasure, but ended up being killed instead. Now the Wu family still wants revenge. Is there any shame left? Someone cursed angrily, thinking that mysterious cultivator did the right thing. Clearly, it was Wu Feng and the others' fault. If they hadn't had malicious thoughts, how could they have been killed and died an unnatural death? Now they still want revenge. It's shameless to the extreme. Heh, the Wu family has always acted extremely domineering. They can harm others, but no one can kill a Wu family cultivator. It's extremely hypocritical. In fact, over the years, are there few loose cultivators harmed by the Wu family? Countless loose cultivators have died at the hands of Wu family cultivators. The bandit Wu family is already notorious in Yunlai City. Any loose cultivator with a bit of wealth wouldn't go to a Wu family shop to buy things, fearful of being targeted by Wu family cultivators and thus dying an unnatural death. Most likely, only some newly arrived loose cultivators to Yunlai City, unaware of the Wu family's reputation, would buy from a Wu family shop. But we have no choice, as the Wu family has a foundation establishment backing them. Heh, it's said that foundation establishment is quite old. If he were to fall, the Wu family might be completely doomed. That's why the Wu family acts so crazily, biting anyone they see, afraid others will see through their weakness. Yeah, the beast before death is the most terrifying. No one wants to provoke such a Wu family. Many loose cultivators gnashed their teeth. Clearly, they were also very dissatisfied with the Wu family, and many loose cultivators suffered great losses at the hands of Wu family cultivators. Some people's friends and family even died at the hands of Wu family cultivators, leaving them with no recourse. But the Wu family is a foundation establishment clan, and loose cultivators can only endure it helpless. Seeing their misfortune now, though, everyone clapped and cheered. They even want to see the Wu family's annihilation. If so, there would be one less foundation establishment clan pressing loose cultivators. Honestly, if it were only about searching for criminals, that would be one thing, but those Wu family cultivators are even worse. They exploit the opportunity to extort us loose cultivators in the name of hunting down criminals. If you don't pay up, they'll say you're an accomplice and may even directly arrest you and give you a beating. If you dare to resist, you might even die an unnatural death. A loose cultivator said worriedly. Actually, some loose cultivators have already fallen victim to Wu family cultivators. This matter was unrelated to them at first. But Wu family cultivators used this as an excuse to begin extorting loose cultivators. If you dare to resist, you'd definitely be beaten or even killed. The Wu family is just too domineering. Relying on being a foundation establishment clan, do they really think they can do whatever they want? If the Wu family's foundation establishment dies, I'd like to see if they can still be so arrogant. For now, we have no choice but to endure. Yeah, we still can't afford to provoke the Wu family. For now, let's leave the shantytown, enter the 10,000 Beasts mountain range, and hide for a while. Many loose cultivators discussed among themselves, feeling very helpless. Without a doubt, during this time, the Wu family will go crazy capturing criminals. Loose cultivators in the shantytown will suffer as a result. But against the Wu family's madness, they had no way and could only silently endure. At this moment in Jiang Fan's home. Now he also knew what was happening outside. But he didn't expect the Wu family to be so crazy and make such a big fuss. It's estimated that the deaths of Wu Feng and Wu Hui completely hit the Wu family's sore spot, driving them mad. The Wu family's actions also plunged the entire shantytown into further chaos. As for the other foundation establishment clans in Yunlai City, they completely ignored such things. After all, it's just a shantytown, not the internal area of Yunlai City. So no matter how chaotic it gets, it couldn't possibly affect them. The Wu family may look crazy, but they know whom they can provoke and whom they can't. They still have some sense in their actions. Thus, what the Wu family is doing has not aroused opposition from other foundation establishment clans. Although my identity hasn't been exposed, with Wu family cultivators acting so crazily, they'll come knocking sooner or later. If this goes on, it's possible the Wu family will indeed find my whereabouts. I must find a way to make the Wu family mess up their own plans. I absolutely cannot let the Wu family do whatever they want in the shantytown. Jiang Fan's eyes glinted with a cold light. He instinctively knew that the Wu family's crazy actions would bring him trouble in the future. So he had to take precautions. Anyway, he's already enemies with the Wu family. Chapter 227. Chapter 145. Strike first. Assassinate Wu family cultivator /2. If my identity is exposed, I'm afraid the Wu family will come to kill me in full force. Yes, I can consult the fortune-telling talisman to see what the best choice is. Should I take the initiative to attack the Wu family? Or should I temporarily avoid them, leave the slum area and steer clear of their edge? Or perhaps endure the extortion and blackmail from the Wu family cultivators? Take the initiative to attack small fortune. Temporarily avoid small misfortune. Endure extortion, small misfortune. In an instant, The fortune-telling talisman in the depths of Jiang Fan's elixir field and sea of qi began to vibrate, emitting a faint golden glow. A message quickly buried itself deep in his consciousness. What? Enduring doesn't work, and avoiding doesn't work either. Taking the initiative to attack is the only way to survive. Upon sensing this message, Jiang Fan's eyes flickered. He didn't expect the fortune-telling talisman to suggest such a choice, advising him to take the initiative to attack. This could reduce his troubles instead, bringing some level of benefit. Whereas temporarily avoiding and continuing to endure will only cause more problems. Could it be that the Wu family is currently troubled both internally and externally, just a hollow show? If I take the initiative to attack and kill Wu family cultivators, it might scare the Wu family into not acting recklessly. If that's the case, then indeed I shouldn't endure. Otherwise, I might be mistaken by the enemy as an easy target to be bullied at will. Jiang Fan's eyes revealed a trace of coldness, his body exuding a deep murderous aura. This world really does not give honest people a way to survive. Since they don't want me to live, they shouldn't hope to live either. Let's see who outmaneuvers whom. Night falls. Yunlai City slum area. A team of 7 Wu family cultivators searching the slum area. They have just come out from a loose cultivator family. Inside, painful wailing sounds echoed. The room inside was a complete mess. Clearly, a loose cultivator has fallen into their hands and suffered a fierce beating. Many loose cultivators on the street witnessed this scene, each one filled with fear. Yet they dared not meddle, leaving one by one, afraid of being targeted by the Wu family cultivators, who might find an excuse to extort them, not knowing how much spirit stone they would lose. However, among the many loose cultivators on the street was someone silently watching this group of Wu family cultivators. He was Jiang Fan. At this moment, he activated the power of the perfection-level breath concealment talisman, restraining his aura and hiding in the shadows. Like a leopard hunting its prey, quietly waiting for the prey to come to him and for the moment of a lethal strike. No one around noticed his presence. They didn't even pay attention to him. This is the power of the perfection-level breath concealment talisman, which reduces one's presence, making other cultivators naturally overlook him, like a stone in the natural world. Damn a bunch of wretches. Just asking them to hand over some spirit stones. And they dare to dodge and evade, utterly unreasonable. If I weren't a bit kind, I'd definitely slaughter them. Wouldn't give these guys a chance to live. A young black-clothed cultivator cursed loudly, feeling very dissatisfied. He thought these loose cultivators were utterly ungrateful. Knowing that the Wu family cultivators were coming, they didn't even willingly step forward to pay respects. Wasn't this a death wish? If not fearing some repercussions, he'd certainly deal with these loose cultivators. All right, no need to vent on this trash. What matters more now is finding the culprit who killed Wu Feng and Wu Hui. That's the top priority for our Wu family. Don't think our main task is really extortion. Don't get things backward. A white-clothed cultivator spoke in a deep voice. He reminded his companions of this fact. For the Wu family, finding the culprit is the important matter. Other matters are trivial. Finding the culprit, how do we even find the culprit now? Right now, we don't even know what the culprit looks like. The other party is very cautious, leaving no traces. Maybe they have already left Yunlai City. What we're doing now is just like searching for a needle in a haystack. We might as well take the opportunity to earn some money to supplement the cultivation costs. A green-clothed cultivator said dismissively. In fact, this was the thought of all the Wu family cultivators. They believed the real culprit had long escaped. The culprit couldn't possibly be foolish enough to stay in the shantytown, waiting for the Wu family to catch them. Even if we can't find the killer, we must search. A mere loose cultivator dares to attack our Wu family. They must have the nerve of a bear and the heart of a leopard. This time, our task isn't just about finding the killer. It's also to intimidate others and establish our authority. It's best to kill a few rebellious loose cultivators to deter others. Otherwise, other loose cultivators might really think the Wu family is declining, an easy target to be bullied. An elderly cultivator said in a deep voice. He understood the main purpose of the patriarch's action this time. It's crucial knowing that the Wu family's foundation establishment cultivator is old and frail, with lifespan nearing its end. Yet the Wu family has not produced a second Foundation establishment cultivator. This is the root cause of potential extinction. Therefore, the Wu family needs to intimidate the surrounding hostile wolves before the Foundation establishment cultivator dies. Only then can the Wu family survive in Yunlai City without being exterminated. To be honest, could the perpetrator be a cultivator from another Foundation establishment clan? I feel like loose cultivators don't have the guts to kill our Wu family cultivator. Impossible. Among the 8 Foundation establishment clans in Yunlai City, we've always been like branches of the same tree. They should have no reason to attack our Wu family. Ha, branches of the same tree, do you believe such things? In the cultivation realm, there's no allegiance, only interests. For the sake of interests, even siblings will turn against each other, let alone other clans. Alas, I hope it wasn't other Foundation establishment clans who did this, or the Wu family is in danger. Damn it, someone has attacked us. Who dares to have such guts? The many Wu family cultivators discussed animatedly. But at this moment, the 7 Wu family cultivators suddenly sensed danger, their hairs standing on end. They were all battle-hardened cultivators. Without a word, they immediately activated the high-grade magic robes on them. Instantly, a spiritual energy shield enveloped each of them completely. Such a spiritual energy shield could block all attacks, truly a 360-degree protection. Unfortunately, this was to no avail. Because this wasn't a physical attack, it was a soul attack. It came from the soul-shaking talisman deployed by Jiang Fan. Rumble tilde tilde tilde. A wave of invisible soul force struck, creating a terrifying tremor. In the air, ripples visible to the naked eye appeared. The terrifying soul shockwave effortlessly pierced through the Wu family cultivators, spiritual energy shields, directly reaching their bodies. Thud! With just one strike, the 7 Wu family cultivators had no idea what happened, their souls severely damaged first, as if their heads were hit hard by an iron hammer. Their eyes, nose, mouth, ears began to pour out a large amount of fresh blood. They stared blankly ahead, but couldn't find where the attacker was. For a moment they seemed like fools, losing their ability to think. Boom tilde tilde tilde. The next second golden rays blasted forth, like streams of sword chi. The heads of the 7 Wu family cultivators exploded in an instant. They burst open like watermelons, turning into a mass of flesh. Immediately the ground was left with 7 headless corpses, with blood flowing. What happened? The surrounding loose cultivators were dumbfounded. Because the incident happened way too fast. They hadn't expected anyone to dare make a move against the Wu family cultivators in the shantytown. So they couldn't see who attacked. Someone attacked the Wu family cultivators. Killed these 7 Wu family cultivators in an instant. Incredibly fierce. The minds of many loose cultivators were in turmoil, feeling extremely shocked. They tried to find the mysterious cultivator in the crowd, but couldn't find any suspicious figure. But this was quite normal, because Jiang Fan used the perfection-level breath concealment talisman. He could perfectly conceal his aura, even reducing his presence. Even if he stood right in front of them, they would naturally overlook his existence. This was why Jiang Fan dared to act against the 7 Wu family cultivators under everyone's gaze. And he could also leave calmly. Chapter 228, Chapter 146, Safely Crossing the Tribulation, Wu family retreats, Taoist Yunlai leaves. Someone actually dares to make a move against the Wu family cultivators. Could it be that mysterious cultivator who took down Wu Feng and Wu Hui? Could it be that he hasn't left yet? It's not necessarily that mysterious cultivator, it could be other cultivators. You're right, there are too many hidden dragons and crouching tigers among the cultivators in the slums, and with the Wu family's domineering tactics recently, they've probably offended quite a few loose cultivators. Tisk, if they incite public anger, the Wu family cultivators will suffer, perhaps being attacked by a group of loose cultivators. Many loose cultivators were discussing eagerly. Each one was extremely excited, feeling justice was served. Originally, they were dissatisfied with the Wu family's actions in recent days. Now, to see someone personally assassinate 7 Wu family cultivators, it is indeed a relief. For a moment, their minds began to stir. Wait a minute, those 7 Wu family cultivators left behind storage bags. They surely contain a large number of spirit stones and treasures. That mysterious cultivator doesn't need them, but we're different. If we can get them, we'll be rich. At this point, some loose cultivators immediately thought of this. They greedily looked at the 7 headless corpses on the ground, seeking fortune amidst danger indeed. Although snatching the storage bags left behind by the Wu family cultivators would definitely offend the Wu family. But as loose cultivators with lives already in tatters, they feared nothing. At most, they would never return to the slums and live in other markets. The world is vast, where can't they go? Whoosh! In an instant, some loose cultivators made a move. While others were hesitating, weighing the pros and cons, the brave and detailed cultivators immediately acted, instantly snatching one of the storage bags. Damn it, this bastard moves so quickly. Don't think of snatching from me, they're all mine. Suddenly, many loose cultivators began fighting to seize the storage bags. Various spells and magical artifacts clashed madly, causing fierce battles. For a moment, this place became completely chaotic. The 7 corpses could no longer withstand such fluctuation and turned into a pile of mush. Meanwhile, Jiang Fan quietly left the scene. He used the power of the concealed breath talisman, seemingly becoming a shadow, merging with the natural environment. No cultivator could detect his presence. Indeed, the power of the soul-shaking talisman is unparalleled. With just one strike, the 7 Wu family cultivators were turned into idiots. They couldn't resist at all, ready for slaughter, easily taken down by me. No, although the soul-shaking talisman is powerful, the true force lies in my soul power. Without sufficiently strong soul power, one cannot unleash much of the talisman's might. Jiang Fan felt deeply. Although his soul-shaking talisman was only at the beginner level, its power was already extraordinary. Soul attacks are formless and bodiless, invisible and undetectable. Ordinary spiritual energy shields cannot hope to resist. With just one soul shock, the enemy would bleed from every orifice, becoming an idiot. Of course, even if ordinary cultivators used the power of the soul-shaking talisman, they would mostly make the opponent dazed for a moment. They couldn't hope to turn someone into an idiot like Jiang Fan could. This is purely because his soul power is excessively strong, far surpassing Qi cultivation stage cultivator. Thus, he was able to achieve this. The soul-shaking talisman indeed makes for an excellent means of surprise attack. And this is just the beginning. If the Wu family cultivators dare to come spread their savagery in the slums again, I'll kill once more. Let's see how many more can die from the Wu family. Jiang Fan's eyes gleamed coldly. He faintly sensed that the Wu family might indeed face a major problem. Perhaps the Wu family's foundation establishment cultivator simply couldn't act. Hence, the fortune-telling talisman thought he needed to take the initiative. As long as the foundation establishment cultivators can't act, he doesn't have to fear the Wu family at all. The Wu family now is nothing but weak inside, not worth mentioning. Whoosh! Soon after, Jiang Fan quietly returned to his home. The chaos caused in the slums had nothing to do with him anymore. Another day passed. The death of 7 Wu family cultivators yesterday quickly spread throughout the slums. It became a popular topic among the loose cultivators in the slums. Did you hear? Yesterday a team of Wu family cultivators was assassinated. In just a moment, 7 Wu family cultivators were taken down without even a chance to fight back. The power of that mysterious cultivator is unbelievably overwhelming. Someone immediately spread this news, reaching the extent that everyone knew it. Are you serious? Someone actually dared to make a move against Wu family cultivators. Aren't they afraid of Wu family's retaliation? Heh, afraid of nothing. The 10,000 Beasts mountain range is so vast. Where can't one go? Exactly, when a man faces danger, either he survives or he lives forever. Even if the Wu family is a foundation establishment clan, that doesn't mean they can really cover the sky with one hand. If they provoke us loose cultivators, they'll still meet their end. That's right, I've long been displeased with the Wu family's arrogant deeds, truly thinking having a foundation establishment cultivator means they can be overbearing without restraint. Some say the murderer is likely that mysterious cultivator who took down Wu Hui and Wu Feng. What do you think? That's unclear. I think the mysterious cultivator has long fled. This move might have been made by other cultivators. After all, there are many extraordinary ones among us slum loose cultivators. Chapter 229, Chapter 146, Safely crossing the tribulation, Wu family retreats, Taoist Yunlai leaves Part 2. Indeed, that seems to be the case. The Wu family's actions these days have been too tyrannical, probably offending countless loose cultivators. It's understandable that someone would take the opportunity to strike. Numerous loose cultivators spoke with Schadenfreude. Previously, they watched the Wu family flaunt their power and act ruthlessly in the shanty town, long discontented with them. But due to fear of the Wu family's fierce reputation, they dared not speak out. Now someone had the audacity to act directly, taking down a group of Wu family cultivators, thus venting their pent-up anger. Don't be too happy so soon. Taking down those few Wu family cultivators will surely anger the entire Wu family. By then, the Wu family's foundation establishment might act personally. If the foundation establishment takes action, our shantytown will be doomed, and who knows how many will die. An elderly cultivator said softly. He felt those young cultivators didn't realize the seriousness of the matter at all. The reputation of a foundation establishment clan isn't fake. No matter how many Qi cultivation stage cultivators join forces, they are not a match for a foundation establishment cultivator. Just one foundation establishment could slaughter countless loose cultivators. Now they've indeed vented some anger. But what's next? Facing the wrath of the foundation establishment, which loose cultivator could resist? The loose cultivators fell silent, realizing the seriousness of the situation. Surely that mysterious cultivator could run away. But they themselves couldn't possibly escape. In the end, they might be the ones facing the wrath of the foundation establishment cultivators. Each began to worry anxiously. 3 days passed. During these 3 days, the loose cultivators of the Yunlai city's shanty town lived in fear. They were very worried about the Wu family's revenge, fearing the foundation establishment of the Wu family would come to kill. Some timid loose cultivators even considered temporarily leaving the shanty town, hiding in the wild, hoping to return after the Wu family's anger completely dissipated. But after waiting for 3 full days, the loose cultivators still hadn't seen any revenge from the Wu family. On the contrary, after so many Wu family cultivators died, the Wu family became completely calm. Not only did they not retaliate at all, but they also withdrew their original Wu family cultivators, making the shantytown incomparably peaceful, as if no one from the Wu family had died at all. This made the loose cultivators immensely puzzled, unable to fathom it. What's going on? Has the Wu family changed? So many died this time and nothing happened. Couldn't the Wu family have been intimidated? Some loose cultivators felt very puzzled, because based on his understanding of the Wu family, once they learned of this, they would surely fly into a rage. Even the foundation establishment of the Wu family would personally intervene, bringing thunderous wrath upon the shanty town. But now nothing happened. Even the Wu family's influence had shrunk back to Yunlai City, truly baffling. He didn't know what had happened in between. The Wu family isn't afraid. Perhaps you don't know yet. The city lord has already led a large number of foundation establishment cultivators to Xian Forest Market. Among them are the Wu family's foundation establishment cultivators. Apparently, the city lord plans to join the nascent Soul Cave Mansion contest, seeking Taoist Wan Hua's inheritance. Someone immediately revealed the reason why the Wu family hadn't retaliated. It's not that the Wu family didn't want to retaliate, but that now wasn't the right time. Because most of the foundation establishment cultivators from Yunlai City had been taken away by Taoist Yunlai. Only a few foundation establishment cultivators were left to guard Yunlai City. Without foundation establishment cultivators, the Wu family naturally dared not act rashly. If they retaliated recklessly, most of the Wu family cultivators might fall. Because of this, even if they suffered such a loss, the Wu family could only endure it silently. To avoid further loss of the Wu family cultivators, they decided to temporarily avoid confrontation, waiting for the return of the Wu family's foundation establishment cultivators. In short, before the Wu family's foundation establishment returns, the Wu family dares not act. I see, no wonder the Wu family backed down. Turns out the Wu family's foundation establishment went to Xian Forest Market. Reportedly, the nascent Soul Cave Mansion conflict is extremely fierce, with various golden core influences in the mix, often resulting in the death of foundation establishment cultivators. It's really dangerous. If that Wu family's foundation establishment dies there, the Wu family might truly decline. Indeed, otherwise why would the Wu family be so low-key during this period, not even daring to retaliate despite so many deaths? They fear this very outcome. For the Wu family, the most important thing now is to produce a second foundation establishment. Otherwise, there's a risk of annihilation. Creating a second foundation establishment isn't simple. Right? If it were that easy, the Wu family would have had a second foundation establishment long ago, instead of waiting until now. Numerous loose cultivators discussed relentlessly. They were finally enlightened, understanding why the Wu family had withdrawn and dared not retaliate. It was because the Wu family's foundation establishment had long departed from here. Even if the Wu family wanted to retaliate, they probably couldn't, so they could only endure for now. This allowed the loose cultivators to heave a sigh of relief. At least for the short term, the shantytown shouldn't attract the wrath of foundation establishment cultivators. But it's said that the nascent Soul Cave Mansion is like a place of death. With so many golden core genrens gathered, even they may not survive. If the city lord is slightly careless, he could fall there as well. If the city lord falls, what will become of Yunlai City? Some loose cultivators worried about this point. After all, it was hard won to have a city of independent cultivators like this. If Taoist Yunlai falls, then the loose cultivators would essentially have nowhere to go. What are you afraid of? Even if the sky falls, the tall ones will hold it up. That's right, even if Taoist Yunlai falls, other golden core genrens will come. Indeed, Yunlai City earns countless spirit stones annually. Any golden core genren would be reluctant to give up the benefits of this immortal city, so others will surely come to take charge. Yeah, we're just ordinary qi cultivation stage cultivators, barely able to manage much. The world will run its course regardless. Numerous loose cultivators felt it was no big deal. Even if Taoist Yunlai falls, other golden core genrens will take over Yunlai City. Even if this city really collapses, they could still go to other markets to make a living, striving for cultivation resources. It's just that there would certainly be some upheaval during this period. At this moment in Jiang Fan's house. Now he naturally knew why the Wu family hadn't continued sending people to the shantytown. After all, the reason for this matter was already well known. The fortune-telling talisman truly lives up to its name, capable of seeking fortune and avoiding evil. Taking the initiative to strike, he defeated those Wu family cultivators and instead intimidated the Wu family. Additionally, the Wu family's foundation establishment cultivators were unable to act, being taken away by Taoist Yunlai. So for now, the Wu family has no way to act. Jiang Fan was utterly amazed by the fortune-telling talisman on him, which seemed equivalent to predicting the future, despite it just being at the beginner level. If he went further, perhaps the power of this talisman would be even stronger. Of course, he also understood that others using such a talisman shouldn't have such a strong effect. It was purely because his destiny was too strong. And this fortune-telling talisman complemented each other perfectly, hence it was so powerful. This was quite suitable as his life talisman. Boom tilde tilde tilde. Just then a message instantly entered the depths of his sea of consciousness. You took the initiative, slaying the Wu family cultivators, thoroughly intimidating the Wu family's foundation establishment. You've gained considerable fame, passing through a tribulation, and earned 5,000 luck points. He sensed a surge of destiny, falling on him mysteriously. Simultaneously, the Wu family's destiny seemed to be stripped away by him. In and out, it equated to weakening the Wu family's destiny, thus causing the Wu family's fortune to fade, gradually leading to their decline. Without destiny, the Wu family would likely suffer misfortune repeatedly in the future, bound to be entangled in numerous disputes and tribulations. 5,000 luck points. That calculates to me possessing 17,000 luck points now. Oh, I also have a 7th grade opportunity that I haven't claimed yet. Suddenly, Jiang Fan recalled his 7th grade opportunity. After all, 7 days have just passed. Now was the moment for the 7th grade opportunity to appear. He flashed and immediately departed his home, flying towards the place where the 7th grade opportunity lay. Chapter 230, Chapter 147, Acquiring Centennial Spirit Medicine, Breakthrough in Soaring Snake Technique, Lifespan of 300. It didn't take long for Jiang Fan to arrive at the location of the seventh-grade opportunity. It was an abandoned wooden house in a slum area. He gently pushed open the door of the wooden house, finding it empty and covered in dust. It seemed to have been uninhabited for a long time. At this moment, following the hint of opportunity, he came to a bedroom in the wooden house. Then he saw a gray ring lying in the corner of the bedroom. It was surprisingly a space ring. He was a bit taken aback, wondering who would leave a space ring in this place. However, he also knew that there were many wooden houses in the slum area. These wooden houses were inhabited by countless loose cultivators. A large number of loose cultivators come and go. It's hard to say whether these loose cultivators might meet with accidents in the 10,000 Beasts mountain range and die untimely deaths. Therefore, these wooden houses could also be leaving behind the treasures of those loose cultivators. Such things happen from time to time in the slum area and are nothing unusual. Of course, without the hint of opportunity, he wouldn't have known there was a treasure here. After all, the houses in the slum area are so simple that most of them couldn't possibly contain any opportunities. Is this the seventh-grade opportunity? Jiang Fan didn't hesitate and immediately picked up the gray ring. Soon after, he quickly left the place as if he had never been there. The seventh-grade opportunity was thus easily obtained. After returning home, Jiang Fan used his spiritual sense to penetrate the space ring, checking the treasures inside. What's this? It seems to be the Centennial Spirit Medicine, Blood Essence Flame Fruit. Jiang Fan's eyes immediately lit up. He saw within the space ring a wooden box, inside which was a fist-sized red fruit, burning like a flame and emitting immense heat. Undoubtedly, this was an extraordinary spirit medicine. Tusk, your luck isn't bad, kid. This is quite a good body-tempering spirit medicine. After consuming it, the whole body gets tempered by the blood-spirit fire, similar to washing marrow and cutting meridians. For a body cultivator, it's undoubtedly a valuable spirit medicine. But how did you know there was a treasure in that place, kid? The 10,000 Transformations Pill Furnace asked in puzzlement. It always felt as if this kid could foresee things. Just wandering around, and he could find treasures. This guy's luck is simply off the charts. You should know, its previous owner, Taoist Wan Hua, would risk his life and engage in battles with other cultivators to obtain treasures. But this kid needed not pay much cost, obtaining treasures silently and unscathed. Why is the gap between people so large? It's really unreasonable. I don't know, it's just my intuition. I felt there was a treasure there, so I went a search. Jiang Fan said earnestly. The 10,000 Transformations Pill Furnace was speechless, not knowing what to say. But it could only explain it this way. This kid surely possesses a special physique, probably able to sense the presence of treasures. Thus, he could easily obtain opportunities one after another. However, this is also a good thing. After all, this kid is considered its new master, and the stronger his cultivation, the better. Blood Essence Flame Fruit. In this case, perhaps I can cultivate the soaring snake technique to the late stage of the Qi cultivation chapter. Jiang Fan clenched his fists. Undoubtedly, if he wants to advance to foundation establishment, he will surely need to overcome the physique barrier. That is, his body must be very strong to withstand the baptism of the essence of heaven and earth. He felt his foundation was already very robust. If the physique wasn't strong enough, it might not withstand it. Therefore, cultivating the soaring snake technique to the late stage of the Qi cultivation chapter was imperative. Fortunately, he now possessed the blood essence flame fruit, such a heaven and earth spirit medicine. If supplemented with a large amount of luck points, he could greatly shorten the time of arduously cultivating the soaring snake technique. Thinking of this, he did not hesitate, immediately throwing the fruit into the 10,000 Transformations Pill Furnace, asking it to help refine and purify the most potent medicinal liquid, removing impurities. After all, even spirit medicine, without removing impurities, would still contain toxins. Some spirit medicine, if not processed, might be harmful to the cultivator's body. Boom tilde. In an instant, the 10,000 Transformations Pill Furnace started operating, swiftly refining the spirit fruit into drop after drop of red medicinal liquid, extremely hot, like molten lava. All its impurities had been completely refined by the 10,000 Transformations Pill Furnace, leaving only the most pure essence. Gulp tilde. Jiang Fan immediately took a drop of the red medicinal liquid and swallowed it. He felt as if his throat was flowing with lava, then it passed through the channel into his stomach. Soon, this drop of medicinal liquid erupted like a volcano. A strong, violent power suddenly exploded and quickly spread through his whole body. At this moment, he sensed that his body seemed to be burning in flames, as if the muscles, bones, meridians, and every part were being tempered by fire. At the same time, this power contained endless vitality. After the destruction, rebirth quickly followed. His body was being strengthened bit by bit. Meanwhile, the qi and blood power in his body visibly increased rapidly. Indeed, the centennial spirit medicine, blood essence flame fruit, has incredibly strong medicinal power. Ordinary loose cultivators probably can't withstand this intense medicinal power. Chapter 231. Chapter 147. Acquiring Centennial Spirit Medicine, Breakthrough in Soaring Snake Technique, Lifespan of 300/2. Once consumed, it's likely to be torn apart by the violent medicinal power. Only a body cultivator might be able to withstand such medicinal power. So for me, this kind of violent medicinal power is just right. Jiang Fan was delighted. He activated the soaring snake technique. Every muscle's soaring serpent rune began to tremble, as if they were serpents riding clouds and mist, absorbing the heaven and earth spiritual qi, constantly refining his muscles and physique. With his body as the center, it seemed to form a vortex of spiritual energy. This rapidly increased the concentration of spiritual energy in the wooden house. He felt his progress in cultivating the soaring snake technique was accelerating. It seemed as if each muscle in his body was merging with a soaring serpent rune. If every part of his body indeed merged with the soaring serpent rune, then he would have reached the late stage of the Qi cultivation chapter. By then, his body's strength would surely leap to a whole new level. More importantly, his lifespan would definitely break past limits again. It should be noted that his lifespan was already at 230 years. Even a foundation establishment, cultivator's lifespan is just that. If he advanced further, who knows to what extent his lifespan would increase. However, Jiang Fan didn't have time to think about these things now, because he had completely submerged himself in the cultivation process of the soaring snake technique. Vaguely, it seemed as if the spiritual energy in the room formed into soaring serpents, flowing in and out of his body. Like riding on clouds and mist, extremely mystical. In the blink of an eye, 3 months passed. Since the Golden Core Zhenren, Taoist Yunlai, led a large group of foundation establishment cultivators away to Xian Forest Market, this caused Yunlai City's high-end combat power to diminish, reducing its deterrent power. The entire Yunlai City was left with only a few foundation establishment cultivators guarding it. So currently, Yunlai City became even more chaotic. After all, loose cultivators are not virtuous by nature. To achieve immortality to cultivate, they would do anything. Because of this, the number of murder cases near Yunlai City increased tens of times compared to before. From time to time, you'd see loose cultivators battling. If it were before, under the suppression of Taoist Yunlai and others, loose cultivators wouldn't dare to be so reckless, afraid of being suppressed by the forces of Yunlai City. But now, with Taoist Yunlai and others gone, the foundation establishment cultivators left behind to guard the city didn't dare leave easily, just staying within the city. Therefore, they turned a blind eye to the fighting outside the city. As long as it didn't affect their cultivation, they didn't care. However, for Jiang Fan and Su Weiwei, this bit of chaos didn't matter. Given their current strength, they were entirely capable of handling this situation. At this moment, in the quiet room of the wooden house, Jiang Fan sat cross-legged on the ground, running the soaring snake technique. Over these 3 months, he had completely absorbed the medicinal liquid of the blood essence flame fruit. Of course, the results were impressive, significantly advancing his progress in the Qi cultivation chapter of the soaring snake technique. Every muscle on his body had integrated with a soaring serpent rune. If one could practice introspection, one would see each muscle on Jiang Fan's body merged with the soaring serpent rune, shining brightly, exuding incredible power. A divine beast cub's aura spread out. Boom tilde tilde. At that moment, when the last muscle on Jiang Fan's body merged with a soaring serpent rune, it seemed that the runes on his 639 muscles fused into one, forming a rune array. Soaring snake technique, Qi Cultivation Chapter Perfection. This could be considered a Tier 1 late-stage body cultivator, even compared to ordinary body cultivators, who knows how many times stronger. Finally succeeded. Jiang Fan clenched his fist, having spent 3 months and a full 4,000 luck points, finally integrating every muscle with a soaring serpent rune, advancing to a Tier 1 late-stage realm. He sensed his body had undergone a vast transformation. Every inch of muscle was filled with explosive power. A punch contained the massive force of over 100,000 caddies, far beyond what he could compare before. Of course, it wasn't just an increase in power. Even his speed and reaction time had improved tremendously. It could be said that even without using his spiritual power, relying solely on physical strength, he could crush many Qi cultivation stage cultivators. It was just like a divine beast cub. However, the increase in combat power meant little to Jiang Fan. The truly important thing was the increase in his lifespan. He felt his body brimming with immense life force, breaking the human lifespan limit again. Thinking of this, he opened his virtual panel. Name Jiang Fan. Life chart, great blessings equal to heaven attribute, great calamity survived, fortune follows. Lifespan 300. Spirit root, earth spirit root. Luck points 13,000. Wealth 45,000 spirit stones. Cultivation technique, soaring snake technique, Qi cultivation chapter Tier 1 late stage. Cultivation technique, mixed element talisman scripture first layer. Life talisman, cyan lotus earth fire talisman beginner, light body talisman great success, conceal breath talisman perfection, protective talisman perfection, golden light talisman great success, body stabilizing talisman great success, yin yang mandarin duck talisman beginner, fortune telling talisman beginner, soul shaking talisman beginner. Realm 9th layer Qi cultivation 30%. Profession top grade talisman master 90%. My lifespan actually increased to 300 years, an increase of 70 years. Upon seeing the data, Jiang Fan was thrilled. After all, even a foundation establishment cultivator could only live for 250 years. But he could live for 300 years, his lifespan surpassing that of a foundation establishment cultivator. If he advanced to foundation establishment, his lifespan might surge even further, possibly exceeding that of a golden core Zhenren. It's fair to say that the soaring snake technique, this ancient technique, is indeed profound and boundless. Once successfully cultivated, it grants an extended lifespan. But not everyone can cultivate it successfully. If he hadn't used luck points to grasp the secrets of the soaring serpent rune, he might not have been able to cultivate this technique successfully. Even in the ancient era, cultivators who obtained the soaring snake technique and successfully cultivated it were few and far between. Of course, besides the advancement in the soaring snake technique, his cultivation also improved significantly. But as he reached the 9th layer Qi cultivation stage, the primordial spiritual power to be condensed increased even more. Moreover, living in the slum area without the support of a spirit vein, his cultivation progress slowed. However, compared to other loose cultivators, he was progressing rapidly. My physique and spiritual sense are almost perfected. Once the primordial spiritual power within is perfected, I can begin attempting foundation establishment. Jiang Fan clenched his fist. He felt he was getting closer to the foundation establishment realm. To be honest, merely having Qi cultivation stage cultivation, there was little sense of security in the 10,000 beasts mountain range. Such strength made long-distance travel very difficult. In the face of crisis, all one could do was flee. Only by becoming a foundation establishment cultivator could one possess some self-defense capability. After another period of seclusion to solidify his cultivation, Jiang Fan emerged from the quiet room. Husband, something major happened in Yunlai City. At this moment, Su Weiwei said to Jiang Fan with a serious expression. She had just received extremely important news outside, which is why she rushed back immediately. Something major, what is it? Jiang Fan asked. It said that Taoist Yunlai and others encountered issues in that nascent soul cave mansion. Originally, many golden core Zhenren joined forces, attempting to break the Tier 4 array of the cave mansion. Who would have thought these golden core Zhenren underestimated that Tier 4 array and were instantly trapped within? Now the golden core Zhenren of various forces are imprisoned inside, their fates unknown. So now, the entire Yunlai city has become turbulent and uneasy. Some suspect that Taoist Yunlai might have perished inside. Su Weiwei said solemnly, sharing all the information she knew. Haha, a bunch of fools. This is the wood-locking earth array set by Taoist Wan Hua. Even though it's ancient and in disrepair, without being a Tier 4 array master, randomly meddling with the restriction array will likely lead to a dead end. Those golden core Zhenren are probably doomed. The 10,000 transformations pill furnace burst into laughter upon hearing this. Chapter 232, Chapter 148, Disaster Strikes Again, Order in Chaos. So, does that mean those golden core Zhenren are doomed? Jiang Fan immediately used his spiritual sense to transmit his voice, asking curiously. After all, the 10,000 transformations pill furnace once resided in that cave mansion, naturally becoming very familiar with that place. If Taoist Wan Hua were still alive, then those golden core Zhenren would definitely be doomed. But because of the passage of time, even a Tier 4 array would have flaws. If they are well prepared, they might not die. However, heavy casualties are inevitable. The 10,000 transformations pill furnace was also somewhat uncertain, because it has indeed been a very long time. Time can erode everything in this world. Even a Tier 4 array cannot withstand the erosion of time. If not repaired, the Tier 4 array would show more and more flaws. Moreover, maintaining a Tier 4 array requires consuming a large amount of spirit stones. If the spirit stones are exhausted, the array of the cave mansion can no longer be sustained. Of course, that group of golden core Zhenren might not be able to hold on until the spirit stones are depleted. Exploring unknown cave mansions is indeed dangerous. Jiang Fan felt deeply moved in his heart. After all, it's a nascent soul cave mansion. No one knows how many means a nascent soul cultivator has left in their cave mansion. If it were a kind-hearted nascent soul cultivator, they might leave behind their inheritance. There might be a slim chance of survival. But if it were a ruthless nascent soul cultivator, they would probably rather kill all intruders than let their treasures fall into the hands of other cultivators. Of course, if they succeed, those golden core Zhenren could become rich overnight. Thinking of this, Jiang Fan looked at Su Weiwei and continued to ask, if it's just like that, there shouldn't be any big problem in Yunlai City, right? After all, the current Deputy City Lord Miao Heian is a Foundation Establishment Perfection cultivator, and he is the eldest disciple of Taoist Yunlai, the most hopeful candidate to advance to the Golden Core level. If this person is still here, the other forces in Yunlai City shouldn't dare to act recklessly, so why do you say there will be a huge upheaval in Yunlai City? To be honest, a Foundation Establishment Perfection cultivator is already strong enough to suppress other loose cultivators. Plus, Yunlai City is equipped with a Tier 3 array. Meaning, as long as Miao Heian stays inside Yunlai City and activates the Tier 3 array, his strength is no less than a newly entered Golden Core cultivator, making him an extremely powerful presence. Even a Golden Core Zhenren wouldn't dare invade Yunlai City. This is the power of a Tier 3 array. It is also one of the reasons why Yunlai City has existed for hundreds of years. Yes, it is indeed like this under normal circumstances. But rumors among the loose cultivators say that another Golden Core loose cultivator, Taoist Fei Lion, has also set his sights on Yunlai City. He wants to seize control of Yunlai City after knowing that Taoist Yunlai might be dead. This news has already spread far and wide. Perhaps Yunlai City will soon have a new owner. Su Weiwei explained. Golden Core loose cultivator Taoist Fei Lion. Hearing this, Jiang Fan suddenly understood. It wouldn't be surprising if Yunlai City was targeted by another Golden Core Zhenren. Although, given the power of a Golden Core Zhenren, they could completely build a second Golden Core Immortal City. The issue is, building a Golden Core Immortal City isn't just done so easily. The key is the Tier 3 Spirit Vein. Yunlai City is built on a Tier 3 Spirit Vein. Without this Spirit Vein, Taoist Yunlai wouldn't have chosen this place to build an immortal city. And throughout the 10,000 Beasts mountain range, the number of Tier 3 Spirit Veins is extremely scarce. Even if there are Tier 3 Spirit Veins, they're either occupied by other Golden Core influences or dominated by Tier 3 Demon Beasts, leaving no room for other Golden Core Zhenren. So after Taoist Yunlai's fall, Yunlai City naturally became a coveted prize for other Golden Core Zhenren. After all, building an immortal city is truly time-consuming and labor-intensive. How much quicker it is to seize a city directly. Besides, the annual value generated by a golden core immortal city is staggering. It's essentially a huge spirit stone or vein. Even golden core Zhenren are drooling over it. If Taoist Yunlai were still alive, other golden core Zhenren would only be left envyingly watching. However, now with him likely gone, other golden core Zhenren are starting to get tempted. Taoist Fei Lion is the first golden core Zhenren to make a move to seize it. No wonder Yunlai City is beginning to become turbulent. If not handled properly, the power structure of Yunlai City could be completely altered. If the power shifts, it will undoubtedly cause massive upheaval. For ordinary loose cultivators, heavy casualties could follow in such turmoil. No wonder the loose cultivators are so worried. Jiang Fan's eyes flickered. He didn't expect that, after only being in Yunlai City for a few months, such a big issue would arise. Could it be that he is truly a disaster star? No, this has little to do with him. Even without him, there would be no shortage of upheavals and disasters in the 10,000 Beasts mountain range. Moreover, this was also triggered by the nascent soul cave mansion of Taoist Wan Hua. He is merely caught up in the tide of the times. A mere ant amidst the waves of the era. Only able to follow along with the flow, incapable of mastering his own fate. If that's the case, should I stay in Yunlai City or leave Yunlai City? Jiang Fan felt it was time for him to make a decision. Thinking of this, he activated his flow to Destiny Talisman to inquire about the future fortune. Staying in Yunlai City is minor good fortune. Leaving Yunlai City is actually minor misfortune. What on earth is the reason for this? Chapter 233. Chapter 148. Disaster strikes again, ordering chaos /2. Quickly, Jiang Fan, through the power of the fortune-telling talisman, discerned many changes in the future. To him, staying in Yunlai City would pose no problems. If he were to leave, he might encounter calamities. Indeed, the one Taoist Fei Lion targets are merely the foundation establishment influences in Yunlai City. Regarding loose cultivators, he actually harbors no malice and doesn't deliberately target them. He even ignores them. However, if he leaves here, he might instead encounter significant trouble. Due to the turmoil of the nascent Soul Cave Mansion, the entire 10,000 Beasts mountain range began to become chaotic. If he were to go elsewhere, he would likely face various upheavals and calamities. Thinking of this, Jiang Fan calmed down. He knew that the most crucial thing for him right now was to enhance his strength and quickly become a foundation establishment cultivator. Everything else was just minor details. To enhance strength, one must still purchase elixirs. Perhaps I need to go to Yunlai City once more. Jiang Fan wanted to buy some top-grade elixirs in Yunlai City to accelerate his cultivation efficiency and elevate his cultivation to the level of Qi cultivation 9th layer perfection as soon as possible. Once the primordial spiritual power within him was perfected, he could attempt foundation establishment. For a cultivator, this was a significant enhancement and transformation. Moreover, he was not lacking in spirit stones at all right now. He still had many spirit stones left unspent. Another half an hour passed. Jiang Fan left the slum area and once again arrived in Yunlai City. Compared to before, Yunlai City didn't seem much different. Still bustling, incredibly lively. A large number of loose cultivators were coming in and out of Yunlai City, with commerce being extremely prosperous. Yet he could sense the ominous atmosphere. It seemed that loose cultivators were more cautious with each other, not as safe as before. Clearly, over this period, the public security situation in Yunlai City had worsened considerably. Soon, Jiang Fan arrived at the Yunlai Pill Pavilion. This was the main elixir shop run by Taoist Yunlai's influence. The elixirs inside were all premium, but the prices were exorbitant. At the very least, only cultivators above the late-stage Qi cultivation could afford to purchase them. So very few loose cultivators dared to come to the Yunlai Pill Pavilion to buy elixirs. Esteemed friend, may I know which elixir you are looking for? The shopkeeper Yang Hui Ren saw Jiang Fan enter. His eyes brightened instantly, and he hurriedly greeted him. I want some top-grade elixirs to enhance cultivation. Do you have them here? Jiang Fan inquired directly. He displayed his cultivation at the 7th layer Qi cultivation, naturally possessing the capability to purchase top-grade elixirs. Of course we have them. We have the top-grade elixir sunflower water pill. It's refined from sunflower water grass, summer withered flower, profound ginseng, and other spirit medicines. The medicinal power is very gentle, extremely suitable for cultivators to absorb and concentrate spiritual power. However, the price isn't cheap. A bottle costs 2,000 spirit stones. The shopkeeper Yang Ren smiled slightly. What? Hearing this, Jiang Fan was also taken aback. Although he knew top-grade elixirs were surely much more expensive than middle-grade elixirs, he didn't expect it to be so much more expensive. No wonder those late-stage chi cultivation cultivators often venture deep into the mountain to hunt demon beasts to earn spirit stones. Without a substantial number of spirit stones, one couldn't even afford elixirs. To buy a bottle of top-grade elixir, who knows how many demon beasts a late-stage chi cultivation cultivator would have to hunt. Very few loose cultivators could afford it. But this was an unavoidable situation. Elixirs are luxury items by nature. They're never designed for ordinary loose cultivators to consume. Luckily, he had many spirit stones on him, otherwise he wouldn't afford it at all. I'll take 3 bottles. Jiang Fan thought about it and decided to buy them to test the effect. If they could significantly enhance his cultivation, spending 6,000 spirit stones wouldn't be a waste. No problem. The shopkeeper Yang Ren smiled like Maitreya Buddha, as he was about to earn quite a bit from these 6,000 spirit stones. Undoubtedly, this young man was certainly a big client. He then took out 3 bottles of sunflower water pill from inside. By the way, shopkeeper, do you have any foundation establishment pills here? Jiang Fan paid the 6,000 spirit stones and then inquired after receiving the sunflower water pill. He wanted to know what price the foundation establishment pill was at. Foundation establishment pill. I don't have such precious elixirs here. If you want to buy a foundation establishment pill, you probably have to go to an auction. But foundation establishment pills aren't cheap. They always fetch astronomical prices at auctions. A single pill is worth at least 30 to 40,000 spirit stones. If there's competition, the price would probably become even more expensive. Can you afford it? The shopkeeper Yang Ren looked curiously at Jiang Fan. Of course I can't afford it. I'm just curious about the price of the foundation establishment pill. Jiang Fan said calmly, without revealing his emotions. Indeed, given that each costs tens of thousands of spirit stones, how can an ordinary cultivator afford it? But even if you can afford it without backing, it's unlikely you can keep it. The shopkeeper Yang Ren sighed. He wasn't trying to scare, but rather stating facts. The foundation establishment pill is not just an ordinary elixir. It represents a cultivator's hope to advance to foundation establishment. It also lays the foundation for a foundation establishment clan's rise and fall for 200 years. Countless cultivator families desire to acquire a foundation establishment pill. Even foundation establishment clans desire them so much. An ordinary loose cultivator attempting to snatch one in front of these family cultivators is undoubtedly dreaming. Even if a loose cultivator possesses a large number of spirit stones and successfully bids for a foundation establishment pill, it doesn't guarantee they will leave Yunlai City alive. This is why fewer and fewer loose cultivators have achieved foundation establishment over the years. Most foundation establishment cultivators actually come from certain cultivator families.